There's no doubt, today more than ever, we all need a little uplifting. Times are scary, and the world can seem lonely and frightening, but God is always present. God loves us and wants us to know He is here and always there when we need Him. The Warriors for Christ podcast seeks to uplift, edify, and encourage you to be the light and salt in a dark and tasteless world. They have new episodes weekly. Be sure to subscribe and share the Warriors for Christ podcast with your friends and family. Find the Warriors for Christ podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Player FM, Stitcher, Deezer, Amazon Podcast, and on their website, warriorsforchrist.podomatic.net. That's the number 4, warriorsforchrist.podomatic.net. Warriors for Christ, letting the Bible speak and teach for itself.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to us on. You know, Chris Cuomo, it's all coming apart for, both Cuomo brothers. And, most of us don't have the connections that these guys have, right? These guys, they were born into wealth and lots of connections. And both Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo could have anything in the world they wanted until just recently. And things are falling apart even worse for these two. And you got to think about everything. At the height of the pandemic, before the Governor Cuomo scandal started, Chris Cuomo, who was in New York, Governor Cuomo had some of the strictest rules and regulations under the lockdowns at the height of the pandemic last year. And what happened? Chris Cuomo broke his brother's statewide executive orders, went out, got the COVID, gave it to his entire family, and boom, no problem. He still gets away with it. He, even when he was supposedly under fake lockdown and separation in his house in, where's that fancy place they all live in?
The Hamptons.
Yeah, in the Hamptons. He didn't isolate from his family, even though he pretended to on television. And he got into a fight out in the front yard with a guy riding his bicycle down. This was all during the pandemic.
He's like Alec Baldwin, just a journalist.
Yeah, and then his brother had everything, and Governor Cuomo would probably have been the Democrats' nominee in 2024.
I think so, for sure.
Even with the nursing home scandal.
I think so.
I don't even know what number to put on it, but you guys know there are thousands of people who Janice Dean and others, Janice Dean, the weather meteorologist I get all meteorologists are involved in the weather. I was going to say weather person, but weather girl, but she's the chief meteorologist at Fox News. Janice Dean and many others have been talking about the thousands and thousands of New Yorkers, senior citizens that died in nursing homes because of the corruption of Governor Cuomo.
Including her in-laws.
Yeah, he survived all that. And, these guys have gotten away with literally, like murder, and they still were able to screw it up after they got away with that. It's like when OJ got off for the double murders, he went out and held people hostage and did, 8 years, 6 years, whatever it was. Okay, so now there are two new stories. Let me go through the first one first here, because you got to do the first one first and then the second one second. But let me go through this one first. And, this is huge. Chris Cuomo is done. CNN, they're not even going to pay him his severance, and he is suing them, and now more and more things are coming out.
He doesn't have a case.
No.
He absolutely does not have a case because they have too much evidence of him. How stupid can you be? Through emails and text messages.
Everything's in writing.
Well, it shows how arrogant he is because he feels he's untouchable.
Well, they're spoiled.
And I think these two grew up in the political world, which is extremely corrupt. Yeah. And this kind of behavior is very typical and normal to them. They don't see anything wrong with it because this is how everybody operates in that world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is normal for them. And they grew up in corruption. So I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying to them, this is just normal behavior. And why wouldn't they do these kinds of things? I mean, they probably felt like the two kings of New York between him being the governor and him being the top CNN anchor.
Well, we've got two news stories. Yeah. Both involve Chris Cuomo. Here's the first one. Chris Cuomo sought to discredit Fox News' Janice Dean for speaking out on his brother's nursing home scandal. Listen to this. Let me go through this story. This story is on the Fox News website. Disgraced CNN anchor Chris Cuomo leveled personal attacks against Fox News' senior meteorologist, Janice Dean, who's been a guest on this program, by the way. In fact, we had her as a guest on this program about this nursing home issue before she was on every show. We were early on in that. Janice Dean, an outspoken critic of his brother's nursing home scandal. Janice Dean, who lost both of her in-laws last year after they had contracted the coronavirus in nursing homes, had placed blame on then-governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo's controversial policy ordering assisted living facilities to accept COVID-positive patients in the early weeks of the pandemic. However, the New York Post reported that Cuomo primetime host, that's Chris Cuomo, Fredo, was in close contact with the governor's office and expressed his desire to target the Fox News' star, according to a source. The source said Chris Cuomo, Fredo, allegedly asked in a text to an Andrew Cuomo staffer how he could go after this Fox weather, and then he used the B word that sounds like witch. Yeah, go after this Fox weather B word that sounds like witch. And this is all documented in a text message. Any help painting her as a far-right crazy? The Post wrote. The New York Post also alleged that it was believed he participated in calls with the governor's staff, including Melissa DeRosa, about how to hit back at Janice Dean by focusing on her political leanings. A spokesman for Andrew Cuomo told the Post, "I have no knowledge of this ever happening." And you must ask, why then did the Attorney General not put anything out about it in her report or ask any of the relevant people about it? Well, because they didn't have the information, I guess.
Exactly.
And also, the Attorney General in New York is a corrupt liberal, as corrupt as Joe Biden. And she doesn't want to necessarily put something out there that's going to make someone at Fox News look sympathetic. Another report from CNBC alleged DeRosa, a top Cuomo aide, Governor Cuomo aide, ripped Janice Dean behind the scenes, sought to craft a public messaging strategy that would paint the Fox News personality as merely a right-wing commentator, and also cited Chris Cuomo's involvement in discussions about Janice Dean. Fox News reached out to Chris Cuomo's spokesperson for comment. He's got a spokesperson now that he's out of work. Janice Dean, who has long said she never identified as being a political person, which is true. She just does the weather.
Not. I mean, I think that's why that didn't go
sense.
Anywhere, because she's not a commentator. She just does the weather reports once in a while. And she's not political. I don't know of her ever making any kind of political statements about anything.
No.
So I think that's something that just didn't go anywhere because they really had nothing to go with. She never talked about anything involving Trump or anything. So that's probably an idea they had. But, that's how it is in politics is you discredit
the messenger.
And that's how it is in Cuomo's an attorney. That's how it is in politics. That's how it is in the law too. Whenever you have a case and you have like a defendant and what's the other? You have the defendant and
the prosecution.
And they try to discredit the other, if you have like, for example, a rape victim or somebody like that, the prosecution or the defense for the rapist will try to discredit the victim.
Yeah, like for example,
that's what they do.
For example, Hillary Clinton represented a child rapist, and she tried to paint the rape victim, who was an underage girl, as a little Lolita.
That's what lawyers do. So he's coming from that point of view as an attorney, and that is also what politicians do. So, like I said, this is like innate with the Cuomos. They were born into this kind of life. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying to them, this is perfectly acceptable and normal behavior. He's probably pissed at CNN.
Is Janice Dean's husband a firefighter?
Yes, he's a fire captain.
So I want you to think about this. He's a fire captain. I want you guys to think about this. First off, she's not political, Janice Dean. Even though she's on Fox, she does the weather. Her in-laws died in the nursing homes due to Cuomo's incompetence and sick, twisted decision-making as governor during the pandemic. That is the parents of a New York City firefighter, and firefighters are in New York City because of the tragedy, the terrorist attack of 9/11 are held on a higher plane than even a lot of other first responders and everything else. And that's who Chris Cuomo's going. Now, then there's another story that just broke about someone that worked on Chris Cuomo's program.
Oh, yeah, this is crazy.
And this one is insane. This is total insanity. This is what I'm going to share with you is from Trending Politics, but it's being reported all over the place.
Chris Cuomo's having a bad week.
CNN producer has been arrested for unlawful sexual activity with a 9-year-old. Let me read to you.
Was he soliciting or did he actually engage?
Solicit. Let's read the story because
they're both bad, but
it'll tell us. It'll tell us.
Yeah.
This is Trending Politics. I'm reading from, so all the words and phrases are theirs. The bad news for fake news outlet CNN. Oh, I like that. They're pretty right wing. I like it. TrendingPolitics.com is a great news source.
It is.
The bad news for fake news outlet CNN just keeps rolling in. First, word leak that it'd have to fire lots of its talent, in parentheses talent, due to plummeting ratings.
Yes.
Then Fredo Cuomo had to be let go thanks to sexual assault allegations. Then a Don Lemon accuser said it was full of predators and perverts, speaking of CNN.
Seems so.
And what they left out in the first paragraph was Jeffrey Toobin.
That's right.
Who was involved in that.
Another pervert.
Inappropriate behavior during the Zoom call. Now, a CNN producer has been arrested for engaging in unlawful sexual activity with a 9-year-old. That's according to Newsweek. Wow, that's pretty credible. Which in a shocking article reported the following. The following is a clip out of the Newsweek article. This CNN producer was arrested on Friday by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, according to a statement by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Vermont. The indictment says that between April and July 2020, he used Google Hangouts and Kik to communicate with people purporting to be the parents of underage girls. On these communication platforms, he sought to persuade parents to allow him to train their daughters to be sexually submissive, the indictment said.
This is a guy who's really sick in the head if he thinks that's okay.
Griffin, the alleged...
Wow.
Yeah, Griffin, is the guy's name. The alleged statutory rapist is a senior producer at CNN. It says is a senior producer at CNN. So this wasn't like a guy long ago where he worked with Chris Cuomo before Cuomo was booted from CNN. According to the horrifying indictment, he paid the mother of 2 young girls, one 9 and the other 13, $3,000. Then one of the girls, the 9-year-old, flew with her mom to Boston where he picked them up and took them to his home in Vermont. It was there that he allegedly molested the girl, according to the indictment.
What kind of a mother does this? What the hell?
Well, one that's in jail, I hope.
That's insanity.
The daughter was directed to engage in and did engage in unlawful sexual activity.
Oh, my gosh.
Newsweek reports that in addition to allegedly molesting the 9-year-old, he was also involved in 2 other incidents with underage women and their mothers. In April 2020,
this is a sick world.
He is alleged to have proposed a virtual training session in which he instructed a woman and her 14-year-old daughter to do some things I'm not going to read.
Oh, my goodness.
And it goes on. I don't need to know anymore. But this is a guy, he's a CNN producer. He worked on Chris Cuomo's primetime show.
Nope.
And
CNN, I've said this. I've been saying this for weeks. It is the most disgusting, low class. I mean, they're lower than low class. They're like in the gutter.
Oh yeah,
the people they have on there. I mean, look at the people that they have on their show, on their network as commentators. And when they brought back Jeffrey Toobin, that told you everything. I couldn't believe that. And Allison Camerata, what is wrong with that woman? And to interview him and welcome him back. I mean, her husband, is he okay with that? I mean, that is just, to me, bizarre. It seems like the whole, I know Fox has had their issues with a few people, but nothing like this.
Not like this.
This is beyond, this is so depraved. And, what they need to do is go in and just fire Zucker, first of all, and do a full clean sweep of everything. Brian, you worked in radio. You worked at radio stations when there's a takeover.
Well, I still do, Kathy.
No, but you worked at other radio stations owned by other people. And when there's a takeover, they come in and they clean house. Whether, you know what I mean? They fire everybody across the board. That's what needs to happen here. I think it's going to happen very soon. there's a merger coming up, but I think they need to do it sooner than later because CNN is just imploding.
And you know what? Here's the thing.
I love it.
Here's the thing. They need to fire everyone at every level at CNN.
Everyone. Just clean house.
And I'm not talking about just the on-air people because, it's
infected. They're like infected.
We have a pattern of very strange behavior over there.
Yeah.
And what happens in situations like that, it's typically not isolated, because
they hire their own.
These sicko pervs hire other people that they're friends with through these weird things.
That's right.
And the culture at CNN is just so low life. And I want you guys to think about this. CNN, how dare they pass judgment on the greatest president ever, Donald Trump?
Here they are
bringing in Stormy Daniels and her creepy porn lawyer. And they got Tubin and this producer and Cuomo and all these other people running around.
Well, I've always said, Brian, when people, it's a personality trait. When people accuse others of doing something bad, it's because because they're feeling guilt about their behavior and they're trying to deflect. They don't even sometimes realize they do it. They're trying to deflect off of their own immoral behavior by putting it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, look at what this guy's doing because don't look at what I'm doing.
Exactly.
It'll make you sick to your stomach.
Exactly.
So they need to do a whole clean sweep. CNN is in the gutter. They're disgusting, vile, perverted people. And I'm telling you, they need to have it's not just enough to fire a few people here and there. They need to come in, like you said, and get rid of the only people I would keep are people that have been with the network like for 20, 30 years that are real interested in news.
Are those people still there?
Yeah, there's some that are like cameramen or writers.
Well, this guy was an off-air person.
Well, I'm sure there's some good people there, but they need to really do a clean sweep of everything.
You know what it is, Kathy?
The whole network's a mess.
The CNN brand is damaged beyond repair.
That's why they got to redo everything.
Everything. Now, here we are in the holiday Christmas shopping season.
Yes.
And I don't say holiday in one of these liberal ways, because there's a lot of holidays, right? You got Christmas, you got New Year's.
2 weeks to Christmas.
That's right. And there is no greater gift than something from MyPillow.com. When you go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, use our promo code at checkout, KANE, KANE, for all the deals that you're going to hear about. Now, also, I asked MyPillow to do this, and they did it. Any special you see at MyPillow.com, no matter what it says, right? Like there's Sean Hannity specials.
That's right.
There's Mike Gallagher specials. There's
Diamond and Silk.
Yeah, the War Room special. No matter what it says, the special, you can use our promo code KANE and take advantage of that deal, KANE.
Help out the little guy.
That's right. That's right. Hannity doesn't need any
That's
any
right.
help.
He's got plenty of money. He's got Hannity money.
But
we don't have that kind of money here.
No, we don't have Hannity money. No. But go to MyPillow.com. We have so many of these products. We were at a family member's house last night, and we were talking to them about all the family, all the MyPillow products we have, and they said that, did Mike Lindell send you all those things? No.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about how I couldn't sleep because they didn't have a mattress topper.
Well, I was going to get to that. We'll get to that in a second. I said, no, we buy all these things ourselves.
That's right.
And, I don't mind it because the prices with our promo code are so low.
And the products are amazing.
Now, there are many specials there, many great products. They all make great Christmas gifts. But Kathy jumped the gun there a little bit. But I want to talk about the mattress topper because we here have at home the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which is the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell makes. And when you go to the radio listener specials with our promo code KANE, KANE at checkout, you can get the 3-inch mattress topper for 50% off. This was a Black Friday special they offered, and I called Mike Lindell's office and I asked them if they could extend this through the holiday season, and they did it. And it's KANE is our promo code, 50% off. Now, this MyPillow mattress topper, it will change your life. If you think you need a new mattress, get this mattress topper. It'll save you a lot of money and a lot of hassle, and you'll sleep like you never have before.
It is so comfortable.
It
spoils you, though.
Yeah, so
for other beds.
So Kathy and I went out of town, and I don't know we were staying at some family members' houses, and I don't want to say who because I don't want to embarrass them about the inadequate mattress.
That's okay. They just
okay. But Kathy, you woke me up. Was it 2:30 in the morning, something like this? And Kathy couldn't sleep. She couldn't sleep.
No,
and
I was tossing and turning for like 4 hours.
Yeah,
it was
and
awful.
There were two issues. One, the mattress topper, and two, not having the MyPillow. And once you
so
sleep,
bad.
once you sleep on a MyPillow mattress topper,
It's true.
and a MyPillow, you are going to get the most comfortable, well-rested sleep you've ever had in your life. And when you're sleeping somewhere without it,
you notice.
it's like sleeping on a bed of nails.
You really notice it.
I had this happen back in October. I went out of town with our daughter. I stayed in a hotel. I woke up, my legs hurt, my neck hurts, my back hurts.
You really noticed the difference.
And it was a nice hotel, and they didn't have the mattress topper.
No, this was a nice bed. Nothing wrong with the bed, but it's just not as comfortable.
It doesn't have the MyPillow
mattress topper. It's just not as comfortable, and I noticed it right away.
Not as comfortable by far.
No.
And, the MyPillow mattress topper, 50% off. This is the 3-inch mattress topper with our promo code Kane. Comes in every size mattress that is made, okay? And it makes a great Christmas gift for yourself. You can even get it for your spouse, and you can get the benefit of it, too. They'll love you for it.
That's a good idea.
And as we get closer to Christmas, you can have it delivered directly to the recipient's house as well, and they'll appreciate it. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener specials. Again, many, many specials, but the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, 50% off with the promo code Kane at checkout. All right, now, the Jussie Smollett conviction it really caught me off guard. I was expecting an acquittal not just because he's a celebrity, but because it's in liberal land of Chicago, and I'm assuming everybody on the jury is a Democrat at Chicago.
I was shocked too. I really, like D, we were talking about in the Marco, I thought he was going to be not guilty. But there was so much evidence. That doesn't even the Democratic liberals couldn't let it go.
If you're on a jury, it doesn't matter the evidence. You can go not guilty no matter what. Look at the OJ evidence against him, right? And it doesn't matter. And they still convicted him.
I think what hurt him is he defended himself and he took the witness stand and he was extremely defiant and arrogant and didn't apologize, still blamed other people, played the victim.
Yeah.
And I think he really upset the jury because it was obvious what had happened. There were text messages, there were emails, there were, video of things happening. And he just looked at the jury and flat out lied to their face still. And this is somebody who's pathological, who just cannot accept reality.
No doubt.
It's a personality disorder. And I think they were just pissed off, well, screw you. So what do you think he's going to get? Do you think he's going to get prison time now?
I don't know. They say a lot of people, all the experts are predicting probation because he has no prior record. I wouldn't be so sure of that. Very high profile. So I got a couple clips I want to play. One is of the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, and one is of Jen Psaki on Friday. Now, Jen Psaki, she was asked about the Jussie Smollett verdict because Biden and Kamala were all on board with Jussie
all defended
Smollett.
him.
In fact, it was a part of their platform running for office. And let me play this.
Liberals are idiots.
This is
sorry.
Jen Psaki being asked by the lady Fox News reporter. I don't know her name. She's the blonde that's not there when Ducey's there, the girl. And she's the one asking Jen Psaki this. This is great.
And one real quick one on the Jussie Smollett verdict. Both the president and the vice president tweeted at the time of that attack. The president tweeted, "What happened to Jussie Smollett must never be tolerated in this country. We're with you, Jussie." The vice president called it an attempted modern-day lynching.
Oh, my God.
Since the guilty verdict, are there any lessons learned here in rushing to judgment when a crime is alleged?
I think there are lessons learned perhaps for everybody who commented at the time.
Okay, now what Psaki's going to do now
I know what's coming.
She's going to divert to Trump. I'll give you a sneak
Exactly.
peek, but she tried to get someone else to do it first. Listen.
Including former President Trump. I wish April Ryan was here because I think she asked him the question.
Okay, so April Ryan, who, she's the one that questioned Sarah Huckabee if she really could bake pies. Remember that?
Yeah.
So she's looking for, this is like, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? She's trying to phone a friend in the audience to bail her out.
Right.
Listen.
Do I see her somewhere or no? Okay. She just left where he said, "I can tell you that it's horrible. It's doesn't get worse. In response to her question about about Jussie Smollett at the time, I would say that we respect the jury's decision. Lying to the police, particularly about something as heinous as a hate crime, is shameful. Instances of that need to be investigated fully, and those found guilty need to be punished. And false accusations divert valuable police resources away from important investigations. They make it harder for real victims to come forward and be believed. If you look back at the time, it's also true and important to note that accusations of hate crime should be taken seriously, and they need to be fully investigated. But that's where everybody was looking at it at the time. But certainly knowing what we know now, it's important to also note the danger of lying to police and lying about hate crimes and the fact that it diverts important resources.
Okay, so I like how Jen Psaki all of a sudden thinks that President Trump, in her mind, is a source of credibility on something.
Yeah.
And she's using a quote of Donald Trump to say, Biden's not really bad. The way to do it, if I'll tell you what I would do. If this was like a situation with us, like I give you an example. Matt Gaetz. I love Matt Gaetz. And he had all these fake allegations against him.
Yeah, which went nowhere.
And I was the first person to stand up and defend Matt Gaetz on day one because I know Matt Gaetz and I know that he wouldn't do those things. Now, and I was proven right, and Matt Gaetz was proven to be falsely accused, and other things have come out since then. But if it came out that all those terrible slanders against Matt Gaetz were true, I would have been on the air that day saying, "Yeah, I am so disappointed in Matt Gaetz. I trusted him. I believed him." And he, they're not.
That's what you have to do.
But they're not doing that.
No, never.
If I were advising Biden or Kamala Harris, what I would tell them to do is, first of all, resign. You both suck. But on this particular issue,
good advice.
I would tell them. But that would be not. I don't know if that'd be good advice because Pelosi's next in line after Kamala now. So I don't know. But what I would tell them to do on this is they should be the most angry at Jussie Smollett. They should be very angry at him because they believed him and he made very, very terrible charges that he completely made up that were not true. And they should be the one. Brian, they should be upset, not diverting to Trump.
You know what's happening here, and we were talking last night with this relative of mine
without the My Pillow mattress topper or a My Pillow in their bed.
I'll have to have a talk.
Yeah.
That there's going to be starting next year like a Republican spring, I guess you want to say, starting next year, because liberals are losing on so many levels. And you know what? It's their own doing. They're doing it to themselves.
Yes.
They're self-imploding. They refuse to recorrect themselves and shift their direction. They refuse to do it. In fact, the worse things get, the worse they get. And it's kind of fun to watch. I know it's not fun that people are suffering, but in a way, it's kind of fun to see Chris Cuomo get fired and squirm, and you reap what you sow. Some people call it karma, but I'm a Christian. I believe you reap what you sow, and that is extremely true. And the Bible talks about how God always shines a light on things, and things will come to light. And I've been saying this, that Trump is being used by God, and people are going to think this sounds crazy if you're not a Christian, but that he is being used by God in a way to bring these things to light. Because when you think about it, Trump really, his personality was so in your face and so strong that he really brought a lot of things out in the open that were very cleverly buried for a long time. And I'm not saying what's happened with Chris Cuomo is a result of Trump, but it's a ripple effect. And as far as I'm concerned, the arrogance of the Cuomos, the arrogance of these politicians, the bad policies of Joe Biden, these people, it's not just Trump, but I think he had a big part of kind of getting this going in some regards, because you have to understand all the policies, all the things Biden is doing are a reaction to Trump. They don't want to do anything like Trump did.
Yeah.
So everything they're doing is not what's best for America. It's the anti-Trump stuff. So whatever Trump did, even if it was the best thing in the world for America, they're going to do the exact opposite. And That's why they're losing so bad, because everything Trump did was good for America.
Yeah.
So they're taking the opposite route, and everything they're doing sucks for America, like the pipeline, and all these other things that, that they're doing.
Last night, President Trump was on with Laura Ingraham, and what he said about Jussie Smollett, he says it's a hate crime in reverse.
I agree.
And it is. It's a hate crime against MAGA white conservative people.
He did that interview with her. That was a good interview.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
When we get back from the break, I wanted to talk about something very interesting.
Okay.
That I read in the Washington Free Beacon.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
From author Lyndon N. Smith comes a book that is popular science with a twist. It's both entertaining and educational. Why You Can't Catch a Rocket to Mars. Some personal reflections on science and society. Available on Amazon. If you are a lover of science and technology, this richly illustrated book is for you. No matter what age and what level of understanding of physics you have. Have you ever wondered why you can't catch a rocket to Mars, Jupiter, or Pluto, or even the nearest star? When you read Why You Can't Catch a Rocket to Mars, you will learn about what has been holding back science and technology for many years and what we can do about it. You will obtain a fascinating glimpse into a wide range of fantastic future possibilities that include artificial intelligence, androids, invisibility, nanotechnology, space elevators, interstellar travel, and more. The author encourages readers to reach for the stars and to realize a new golden age for humanity. You will understand why we need to spend more time and effort on looking to the fantastic possibilities of the future. And you will never view Sherlock Holmes or Star Trek in the same way again. Why You Can't Catch a Rocket to Mars. Some personal reflections on science and society from author Lyndon N. Smith. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and audiobook. Order your copy right now. There's no doubt about it. Our lives revolve around our computers. We depend on them for work, school, communicating with friends, shopping, pretty much everything. So when they don't work properly, it's not only frustrating, it can even affect your income. BestPCRepair.com is always there to help you with your computer repair needs. They can help with laptop and desktop repair, software and hardware troubleshooting, computer upgrades, data recovery, hard drive replacement, and a whole lot more. BestPCRepair.com work with all PCs and laptops. And it's just not computer or IT fixes they can help you with. They also provide many businesses with website design, hosting, cloud solutions, and mobile phone and tablet support. Visit their website right now, bestpcrepair.com, and see how they can help you. Ask about their tech support packages for just $20 a month. bestpcrepair.com or call 877-203-2963. 877-203-2963. From author Jasmine Dubois comes the book Love Across the Ocean, available on the author's website, jasminedubois.com. Alina grows up a farmer's daughter in Moldova. She has dreams, but they're shattered when she finds out her parents have promised her to be wed to someone she doesn't love. One evening, she meets Michael, who is taking shelter from the rain in their barn. The evening before her arranged marriage, she elopes with Michael instead. One day, Michael vanishes to America. After waiting for Michael's return, she finally summons the courage to board a ship and catch up with him in New York. Alina believes she is following her dreams of moving to America and being reunited with her love. She's not prepared for what she finds. How will she deal with this situation, now an ocean away from home and in a new country? Her alternative is unexpected, but she does end up finding love and marriage, but with someone you would not expect. Love Across the Ocean is a story of resilience. We find that people aren't always who they seem to be. Sometimes Mother knows best, and there are always actions to take when your heart is shattered that will take you on the journey that was intended for you. Love Across the Ocean from author Jasmine Dubois. Order your copy right now on the author's website, jasminedubois.com. From author J.M. Doyle comes your next must-read book, A Million Tiny Lights, available on Amazon. In A Million Tiny Lights, Davis Malone has a secret that's controlled his life for more than 20 years. Witnessing a murder at the age of 13 has created emotional cargo that's traveled with him throughout his life. As he approaches marriage, he's fighting to work through the trauma of losing his first wife and 2 young children in an automobile accident. He's faced with a monumental decision and the continual threat of Sheriff Trent Horn, who's determined to prevent him from sharing what he witnessed. The weight of his burden keeps him confused and afraid. Davis is a former star athlete in the small Georgia town of Willis and currently the revered football coach for Magnolia County High School. Now he fights to start anew and agonizes over sharing this secret that threatens to not only ruin his life and the lives of those he loves, but could bring down an entire community. A Million Tiny Lights from author J.M. Doyle is perfect for book clubs. Available in Kindle and paperback on Amazon.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. You had a story from the
Yes, this is from the Washington Free Beacon, and this came out yesterday, but I just saw it today.
Yeah.
Biden megadonor scores $500 million federal loan for solar company.
Oh, wow.
Politically connected First Solar also secured $3 billion in loan guarantees from Obama. So there's the connection. A solar energy company owned by a Biden megadonor received a $500 million government loan to build a manufacturing facility in India, not even here where they can employ people. The Biden administration announced this week, raising questions about whether the company's political clout played any role in the financing decision. Gee, you think the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation granted the loan to First Solar, which is owned by billionaire Walmart heir Lucas Walton, to build a solar module plant in India. So they're going to be employing a bunch of Indians, I guess. Walton contributed...
Not Native American Indians.
Right.
That'd be okay if it was here.
Exactly. Walton contributed over... See, I wouldn't be so upset about it if they were building it here. Walton contributed over $300,000 to President Joe Biden's campaign last year and over $100,000 to the Democratic National Committee, according to campaign finance records. The loan to First Solar is the largest single debt financing transaction issued by the DFC, the agency announced this week. So here you go, pay for play. This is how politics works. This is what this is what Obama's stimulus was about. Like Brian always says, they have to pay back the donors. And this is why they get so adamant over passing these stimulus packages, because they owe these people. And these people are in the wings waiting for these things to happen. They got their hand out. They're like, look, I gave you $300,000 to help you get elected. Now it's time to pay me back. That's the way it works. And that's why people love Trump, because he didn't owe anybody anything. The only people he owed were the American people for electing him.
Exactly.
And that's where his allegiance was. He's the only president who did not owe a favor to anybody. And that's why a lot of people appreciated him and what they liked about him.
That's why the establishment hated him.
That's why the establishment hated him, because this is BS. This is how politics works. Okay, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back.
Yep.
This is the whole reason that we now our taxes are going to go up and all these things are going to happen, and we're going to be further in debt so they can give $500 million loans to their friends.
Well, here's
a disgrace.
Here's the thing. You see this all the time. President Trump, $10 billion, and he's so rich he can't be bought. He and his family have made their money in the various businesses and TV, and everybody knows this. The people in government, they make their money by corruption, by selling of favors like this.
That's exactly right.
And when Trump came in, they couldn't do it. And I promise you, Biden's not the only elected official. They got money from them. Probably a lot of members of Congress that go for these bills. And
yeah, they couldn't make their deals, and the thought of another 4 years of him being in office just was that's just not going to happen.
They got their Build Back Better bill they haven't gotten through yet,
right.
and they owe a lot of favors on that. And,
yeah, they do.
And that looks like it's done. I wanted to talk about something I saw on television. I know we were talking last week about Survivor. Remember we were talking about this, where
the woke Survivor.
Jeff Probst will no longer say, "Come on, guys," because guys leaves is too gender specific. We were talking about that last week.
It's just ridiculous.
There are a handful of television shows that I enjoy watching, and the reason I watch them is because I like them, and sometimes you got to take a break from Joe Biden wrecking the American economy and the planet. And
yes, you need to escape it all.
And regular television shows are getting so political and woke. And I'll give you an example, SWAT. I'm a big fan of SWAT. I was a fan of the 70s SWAT when
me
I was
too.
a kid.
One of the greatest theme songs ever.
Oh, yeah. They use the same theme song now as from the original. And when I was a kid, I know a lot of you guys that are my age, Generation X age, had them. The SWAT action figures. I had the SWAT action figures from the TV show in the 70s.
Did you have the truck?
And I did not have the truck.
See, my brother had
but you know what? No, I did have the truck.
Yeah.
I had the truck, now that you mention it, because I remember they could go inside of the truck.
Yeah, it was a cool show.
And they had the whole tack gear and bulletproof vest and everything. It was a really cool action figure toy set. It was very cool. And the new SWAT, I've been watching it, and it's not that bad, but the last couple seasons it's gotten left-wing political. Last season, because it was the election year, every other episode, the bad guy was MAGA. They call him something else, sovereign citizens, patriots.
For the freedom.
The freedom this, the freedom that.
Freedom brothers.
The basket full of freedom lovers or something. Every other episode was that.
It's true.
And this season, I didn't know that SWAT had come back. I don't watch as much TV as it may sound as we're talking about these things. But I didn't know that SWAT had been back this year until they were on episode, it's 10 or 11. And I was like, oh, wow, SWAT's back. I missed it. They're back. And they came back, and the first half, they're on episode 11 of the season. The first half of the season, the lead actor is, what's his name, Shamar something?
Yeah, Shamar.
He used to be on Criminal Minds. He's an old soap actor. He's the main actor.
Yeah.
And he's black.
Shamar Moore?
Shamar Moore.
Is that it?
I think it's Shamar Moore. And Shamar Moore, he's great and all this stuff. But the first half of the season, he's the SWAT team commander.
He's Hondo.
Hondo, yeah. He's been removed from being team leader, and he's been demoted because he overheard some guys at the talking, some other police officers talking about how he only got the job as the SWAT team commander because of affirmative action, because he's black. And he went public about these racist cops and to the LA Times. And so the LAPD took him out of his leadership position. So the first 5 or 6, 7 episodes of the season are about that and him trying to get his job back. So I skipped all those episodes. I watched the beginning of the first one and saw what they were doing. I was like,
TV is getting so preachy. It's not even fun to watch anymore.
So I went to episode 5 and they did a recap, same storyline. So it was 5, 6, 7 episodes of that. And what they left out was this. Okay, in the first episode of SWAT, this is several years ago, the new SWAT, he did get the job because he was black. What had happened was the SWAT team leader they had, he shot a kid. He was white. He shot an innocent kid by accident who was black. And there were 2 guys up for the job who were both on the team, right? Shamar Moore and the white guy, who's the number 2 guy now. And he had more seniority than Hondo. And Shamar got the job as team leader in the first episode of the whole series. And the other guy was upset about it because he had seniority. And the SWAT team commander says, well, it's optics. The other guy, he killed a black teenager, so we had to do this. Job. So now all of a sudden, what they were talking about in the first episode, now it's new. So I'm like, okay. So I skipped ahead, didn't watch any of those episodes. I'm on episode 10. Finally, they got past it. And it was a normal episode. And then I watched this week's episode. And it's about dreamers and how the bad guys in this was ICE. ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement. Yes. And they have this new character they've introduced who is Mama Pito or something is her name. And she has a safe house for girls that are in the country illegally. And they got this whole storyline about how the evil people are ICE. And I'm done with the show. Yeah, I'm done with the show. When I watch
I won't watch shows that do that. I'm sorry.
When I watch a movie or I watch a regular scripted television show, I'm trying to get a break from this liberal crap that's in the mainstream media.
They're really beating you over the head with it. And the reason they're doing that is because people are not buying their BS.
Yeah.
So liberals are always trying to sell you on their ideas. So this is their way of trying to convince you through entertainment, that this is the way things need to be, and you need to understand this. And it's kind of a form of brainwashing. I don't personally like it.
And it's weak writing.
It is weak writing because it's a crutch.
It is.
It's a crutch. This whole storyline of white male MAGA people being the villain and being intolerable and bigoted and all this. And, everybody else is good. And, it's very limited. And like you said, it's a crutch. And it gets kind of boring after a while. We see it on The Rookie. We see it on SWAT. We
Survivor?
See it on FBI, the new FBI show, Survivor. Yeah. And it's like, after a while. And then they said, I read an article that Steven Spielberg, who has been, did a remake of
West Side Story.
And I actually recorded the original. It's on Turner Classic. I'm recording it to watch. I've seen it a couple times. It's a great movie. Rita Moreno, really good. But this version they made very woke.
Yeah.
And when it comes out, I'll watch it when it comes on demand. I'm not going to go to the theater. But apparently they had people speak Spanish without subtitles. Well, I talked to somebody who was upset about that. That's really not a new thing. I was telling Brian, if you watch a lot of old movies, they have people that speak other languages. They never put subtitles in those old movies. It was very rare.
Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Right,
but it's not a new concept.
I remember back in the 80s, Shogun with Richard Chamberlain, the Japanese people, they were speaking Japanese with no subtitles.
Exactly. That's not a new concept, but
it happens sometimes.
I wonder what else he did in the movie to make it woke. That can't be the only reason it's woke. So I'm curious if anybody saw West Side Story, which I don't think a lot. It made $10 million, which is pretty bad for Steven Spielberg. What's his last great movie? Ready Player One was good, but it had problems. To me, his last great movie was Jurassic Park.
Steven Spielberg is out. Well, I don't know.
That was 30 years ago almost.
Well, no, he did Schindler's List after that, I bet you. Schindler's List had to be after that.
Schindler's List. I stand corrected. Schindler's List came out. I saw that in Paris. When was I there? 1994. So Jurassic Park came out like in 93.
I had a weird...
Schindler's List I think is his last great
I had
movie.
a weird thing happen when I went and saw Schindler's List. And I don't think I've ever talked about this before because I really haven't thought about it in years. But I saw Schindler's List in the theater, and I went and I saw it with people from work at the radio station, and there was a group of us who went to see it, and several of them were like in tears watching.
Oh yeah,
but this was so, and I was young at the time, so I was in my early 20s. I don't.
Yeah, you're like 23 because I was 24.
Yeah, there was a guy. This is so weird. This is just so weird. I hadn't thought about this in years. There was a guy in the front of the theater that I remember was laughing out loud during that movie, and our people were getting upset in the theater.
He was just doing it on purpose.
No one said anything to him. And I think the reason that no one said anything to him, thinking back, it's a long time, is you have to be a crazy nut, white supremacist.
I think it was probably just some kid trying to.
No, he was a grown man.
Well,
I remember seeing him. He was a grown man. He had to be like a Nazi.
It's weird because I saw that. I was in Paris and it came out, and I went with this girl, Melissa. We were staying with my cousin who was living there at the time, and we went. It was this huge, beautiful theater, and we went to see it. They put it in the biggest theater in the place, and this was the biggest movie theater I've ever been in. Like there were probably about 1,000 people. It had a balcony. It was huge, and the movie was in English with French subtitles, which was so crazy because my friend and I were English speakers, and everybody in the audience pretty much was French, and we understood everything, and they had to, they didn't dub it over. It was an English movie with the subtitles, which is kind of weird. But that's a great movie. We'll have to watch that again. Yeah. The scene with the little girl in the red coat got me.
It's a very good movie.
It was awful. I never realized. I mean, obviously, I knew the Holocaust was horrible, but that movie, I think, really showed people exactly what a little snippet of what.
Oh yeah,
what happened.
Was very good.
It was just awful.
Liam Neeson.
That made him a star.
Liam Neeson was in the pilot episode of Miami Vice. A lot of people don't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Have you ever dreamed of being wealthy using real estate? If you answered yes, there's a podcast you will want to add to your playlist. Big Fat Real Estate Checks, hosted by Marco Kozlowski. Available on all podcast platforms. It's a podcast about investing in U.S.-based multifamily real estate. If you want to replace your JOB income with passive income for life, host Marco Kozlowski's proprietary systems and processes can help you get there. And you don't necessarily need money or credit to do it. Marco has been in real estate for over 20 years and has learned lessons, horror stories, and an entertaining and fun way of teaching you how to win the game of cash flowing real estate without breaking the bank, without risk, and without using any of your credit. He has hundreds of successful students who used his systems and processes to replace their income and retire. Check it out today and learn from Marco. His podcast is filled with valuable information that you can actually use. You will learn how to build real, generational wealth. No get-rich schemes here. At Big Fat Real Estate Checks with host Marco Kozlowski to your playlist right now. Available wherever you listen to podcasts. Imagine if you could combine your love of crypto with just about any vanity or lifestyle theme. Well, now you can at StellarShop.org. Stellar Shop brings themes to life in cryptocurrency and is the originator of vanity and lifestyle money in the new and exciting world of cryptocurrency. Align your money with causes you care about, like dolphins and sea turtles or anything in between. From Woodstock to medbeds, they have over 100 to choose from, so you can buy, sell, trade, or swap crypto on the Stellar XLM network. Stellar Shop also has over 20 charity themes that benefit from your usage. Grab your favorite Stellar wallet and join the revolution and the future of money through blockchain quantum finance. Stellar Shop also sets up custom-made business crypto and payment systems for any business. Get in on the crypto craze, and maybe you can be the one telling that next crazy crypto story. Visit StellarShop.org today for vanity and lifestyle crypto assets. That's StellarShop.org. Do you have big ideas? Are you an innovator looking for the path to make your innovation a success? The book Cycles, available at thecyclesbook.com, is the help you've been looking for. There are a lot of books, courses, and videos on innovation. They can be fun and motivating, but rarely do they deliver long-term results. Taught at top MBA programs, Cycles is the simplest, proven method to innovate faster while reducing risks. This must-read book brings together 4 years of research and the works of 22 innovation experts into a simple system that's easy to understand and implement. Cycles will change the way you think about innovation and make it easier for you to innovate faster while reducing risks. When you read Cycles, you will learn to get better at every stage of the process and move up to 6 times faster and take out as much as 70% of the risks. Not only is Cycles perfect for individual reading, it's great for your management team and corporate events. Cycles is available in ebook and paperback formats at thecyclesbook.com. Order your copy right now. You've heard how you can wear your heart on your sleeve. What about wearing your personality on your head? The Etsy shop, Get Stitch, that's all one word, offers cute everyday designs embroidered on premium apparel. Get Stitch on Etsy have caps, beanies, tees, trucker hats, bucket hats, and a lot more, all featuring simple and unique designs that showcase what matters to you. Whether you're into cooking, holidays, retro, gaming, the military, birds, gardening, dogs, coffee, photography, or Mother Nature, they have hundreds of items and dozens of styles to choose from. You will definitely find the right hat for the right mood, outfit, or event. The hats at Get Stitch on Etsy also make fantastic gifts. It's time to get stitched. Start shopping right now. Go to Etsy.com and search Get Stitch. That's all one word. Get Stitch on Etsy.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much, everyone. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, who actually, I'm not going to get into the details of this, but he got me involved in a very interesting group that I'm learning all kinds of stuff about, but I can't tell any of you about it. It's not that it's a secret society, but appreciate that, ETW. He introduced me to something very interesting. Chuck, Rick, Rich, Nick, Dee, Pamela, and Jacqueline. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone. And if you would like to support the program, becoming a Patreon supporter is a great way to do that. There is a direct link in the description of this episode. And the direct website address to our Patreon page is patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show.
You know, that Michigan, this is just a little interesting thing, that kid that shot up the school in Michigan and they arrested his parents.
Yeah.
His parents hired a high-profile attorney team, but he's got a public defender. That tells you a lot right there.
They hired the top attorney for themselves?
That's right. But
and not their son?
That's right. That tells you a lot right there about that dynamic.
What?
I think
That's crazy.
It is. I'm not excusing his behavior, obviously, but I think a lot of this was about getting attention, and maybe he wanted to get his parents jammed up. Maybe he was mad at them, and I don't know how he could have foreseen that, though, because this is kind of a new thing. But it said here, the Michigan school shooting suspect's parents have hired high-powered attorneys to defend them, but their son has a public defender.
That's insane.
I know. That was pretty shocking. I mean, if it was my kid, I would hire the best. I mean, you could probably get such a high-profile case. You could probably get lawyers, some maybe even just do it for free. I don't know.
In a school shooting case?
You don't think so? I don't know. Their names
that's
are
not
all
easy.
Yeah, I guess that's hard to defend. But I would, obviously try to get my kid the best attorney. But they're paying. I don't know how they're paying for it, but they're getting high-powered attorneys for themselves.
Well,
and not
now,
for their
okay,
son.
now the parents. Okay, there's I haven't read the story, and I'm certainly not going to defend any of these weirdos.
Absolutely
okay,
not.
But there's a difference between their case and the son.
Well, he needs the lawyer more than they do.
Well, no. What I'm saying is their case is unique, and it's possible that attorneys have volunteered to represent the parents because there's a very weird liability issue where parents are being held responsible and charged with manslaughter in a school shooting when their child did it. So I don't think it's too easy to find a lawyer to represent the son. I don't think so.
The lawyer they hired represented Larry Nassar.
Oh, my goodness.
The former gymnastics
bottom feeder
doctor who molested all the girls. That's crazy. That's who they hired?
A bottom feeder.
Wow.
That's the lowest of the low.
That's pretty bad.
I knew an attorney who, he's passed away now, but he was, his name was Richard Essen, and he was the top DUI attorney in America. He was out of Miami. He was worth many millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. And he was you Google attorney Richard Essen DUI defense, and
he was good friends with you and Steve.
Yeah, top attorneys around the country would travel to Miami just to learn from him. And when he was a prosecutor, he started out as a prosecutor. He never lost a case. And before he got into DUI defense, and when he first went into private practice, it wasn't just DUI. He went into defense in general. And he let me tell you, he defended, I remember once, he defended an airline pilot on a DUI and won. A guy that got a drunken, he wasn't drunk in a plane, he was drunk in a car, but he got the guy acquitted who was an airline pilot for a major airline. So he was, he represented people you don't want around on the road. But when he was doing general defense, he would never defend someone that did anything to a child. And, and he would talk about how that's just the lowest of the low. Everyone's entitled to a defense, but you're not obligated to defend them. And that's just something he wouldn't do. Because he was so good, no matter how guilty you were, he could get you off. He was that good. And he wouldn't have anything to do with anyone that did anything to a child.
I don't blame him.
Unless maybe it was in a DUI. He might have, then, because he did have some strange cases. But that is a real sleazy attorney. An attorney that sleazy would probably represent the kid too. Yeah, I would think, because that's
for the right price.
Oh my goodness!
But I thought that was very interesting little tidbit of information that they hired This woman she defended Larry Nassar. That's a high profile attorney.
And what kind of woman
that
would
was
do
a
that?
national case? I don't know. And now she's defending these two. I don't think things went well for Larry Nassar. So I'd want to hire maybe the guy who defended Casey Anthony might be, what was his name? He might be or the one who defended George Zimmerman. They might be better choices because they got their clients off, but not somebody whose client is in jail right now. Not be why not hire Sandusky's attorney while you're at it? I
saw on Twitter today, BLM is asking people to boycott white-owned businesses for the holidays, for Christmas. Now, I will tell you, I do not support boycotts. It's especially after what businesses went through last year with lockdowns and shutdowns. But asking people to boycott white businesses, that's not even possible because, I learned the stupidity of boycotts when I was in high school. Okay, when I was like in 10th grade is when that Exxon Valdez thing happened in Alaska. And I remember some kids in my school were organizing a boycott of Exxon gas stations.
I remember that.
None of us had cars. We weren't even old enough to drive yet. And either were they, but they were going to boycott I guess we weren't going to go buy candy at Exxon gas stations or something because we couldn't buy gas. We didn't have cars yet. And I had a teacher who I didn't know at the time, but looking back, he had to have been a Republican because he was very smart. He told the class, he says, go ahead with your boycott, but you're not going to hurt Exxon. They're worth billions of dollars. You're going to hurt the local guy that owns the local gas station.
Well, I think it's kind of
and this thing with Black Lives Matter, okay, boycotting white-owned businesses. The United States is so diverse. A company may be owned by a white person, right? Maybe. But who you're really hurting are their employees.
Right.
Like, for example.
That's what boycotts do. They hurt the employees.
I'm trying to think of like a white company. Like Chick-fil-A. That sounds like a white company, right? Chick-fil-A?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Remember, the guy that was on TV a few years ago. Well, let's just assume it is.
We'll say for example.
Okay, so we're going to boycott them because they're owned by white people. I go to Chick-fil-A. You got diverse people there, and if you are boycotting Chick-fil-A and you're not going to your local Chick-fil-A, that means they're selling less chicken fillets. So that means they got to cut back the hours of the people that are working there. That's all. It is impossible to say I'm going to boycott white-owned businesses because the employees are so diverse. You're really boycotting Black people, Hispanic people, women, men, white, Native American, and Eskimos. It's stupid. In this
I agree,
society.
And I think it's kind of interesting and ironic that they want you to patronize only Black-owned businesses, which are the businesses they destroyed while they were rampaging across the country. Do they want you to go to that woman who owned that beauty supply place in Minneapolis that they told that Black lady crying on the TV that they totally destroyed her business? So they're telling you only patronize Black-owned businesses after we go in and destroy them and rip up their inventory and steal from them and break their windows. They predominantly destroy businesses in where there's minority-owned businesses in the inner cities and the bigger cities, and they go around and destroy these businesses owned by Black people, but then they tell you only shop at Black-owned businesses. The stupidity just never seems to end here.
Well, listen, we're all out of time, but we'll be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
There's no doubt about it. Everyone is talking about crypto. American Dream Token is a community-driven platform that promotes global financial well-being by empowering the community to not only be in control of their own money, but to create wealth opportunities for themselves as well as others. The American Dream Token team is dedicated to building the best decentralized ecosystem on the planet. If you have an interest in crypto, you need to visit AmericanDreamToken.com, read their dream paper, and meet their dedicated team. Also, share the link on all of your social media so your friends can join the community too. AmericanDreamToken.com.